With someone before having this conversation with you, a colleague of mine, I was telling them saying, kwa alipo Mr. Swagger Diamond Chain abali hapa stage nembwa. But yeah, two vibes. We make sure whether uli Zambia, whether uli kuchalo, want to get to find out from you. At the end of the day, it's all about conversation, it's all about understanding, it's all about opinion, it's all about finding out from the actual person their thoughts and their opinion, because opinions do count. Now let's get straight up to that conversation with Mr. Chisenga all the way from Australia. Good afternoon, how are you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm all right. How's Australia doing?
No, Australia is great, man. Lots of great economic changes that benefit the people, so that's a great thing. Just like in as far as work opportunities, things are starting to increase as well for the unemployed. What else? I think that there's a new tax law coming into place that's going to benefit a whole lot of middle class people. Some much needed tax changes, so that's a good thing.
Nice. Now let's talk about you moving out from Zambia, going to start life in Australia, and some few information how it has been for you being there. We're talking about how many years now?
Uh, 11 years.
11.
About. I mean, I was back in Zambia for the SADC conference. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a while.
Mm.
That was 2018. Though.
How's it been for you in a foreign
4 years.
country, in
Yeah.
diaspora? That's where your family is as well.
Yes, I think that one of the things that I love about Australia is the educational system and how much more you can learn without, for example, paying too much. Because I think that one of the costly things about being in Zambia is the amount of the money that you have to pay in order for you to get a good education, and also the educational system. And I've also noticed that things are starting to change in Zambia, and it's good to see the changes that are happening in the education system, and as far as the gradings and the levels and things like that. But over here, there's a lot that the government can also do for you. So, you kind of meet halfway because what they have is a system where you can actually get your education. And once you start earning good money, you start paying the loan back. They don't say pay X amount, but you'd have to obviously be a citizen to be able to have those privileges, which I am. And
Mm.
through that, I've been able to get high levels of education that I never actually thought possible while I was in Zambia.
Mm. You know, I was having a conversation with someone before having this conversation with you, a colleague of mine. I was telling them saying, kwa alipo Mr. Swagger Diamond Chain abali hapa stage nembwa. Do you still remember those days? Now we're seeing, I don't know if you saw a video of Y Celeb going on stage, the current new wave. And some of us, we used to follow music as way back as that time. I still remember uh, where when we talk about hip hop giants, you're one of the pioneers in the hip hop scenes right there as well. Some new waves might not know about you, might not know that was once upon a time there was Mr. Swagger Crisis, who had a record label called Diamond Chain. All these things that we're seeing now, they were there. The beefs, the drama in the industry before social media. What are some of the things that you feel like the
hmm
new generation needs to know about you?
So I think that a lot of the chapters that have been missed, and as far as telling my part of the story, are just how much adversity I had to face and how much, I had to fight so many naysayers. So many people were like, no, rapping in English, you're not going to do it in Zambia, it's not going to work. And for some reason, something in my heart just told me, don't listen to them, just do you. And I think that I had just started, I had just started studying a guy called Dale Carnegie, And communication skills was also one of my favorite subjects in college because I was at the Zambia Institute of Business College Trust, Zambia Insurance Business College Trust, actually, ZIBIC. And one of my favorite subjects was communication skills. And what I did was I took the communication skills from the class and I took them to the booth and I took them all the way into my career music wise. Another thing that people probably don't know, and how does the communication skills relate to people telling me I couldn't do it in English? It's because I studied communication skills and there's certain things that I understood about communication that made it easier for me to communicate with the masses, even though I was making my music in English. I found like the secret sauce and I just ran with it.
Mm.
Another thing that a lot of people don't know about my history is I'm probably one of the few artists from my time that didn't sell his publishing and masters to Supershine. There was a record company called Supershine in Zambia, and they were just buying albums from musicians and owning the masters, owning the publishing, basically owning the mechanical rights, and they'll control everything and just give the artist a small share of the income. Instead, what I did was I got Supershine's distribution. I got them to make some money off my product, and then I got them to also, I didn't sell them my rights, I didn't sell them my masters. And the funny thing is, I built a great relationship just from the fact that they respected that I knew my business, and some of the other people didn't really know what they were doing. And sometimes you can't tell people any better because it's like, dude, what are you doing? You're selling your masters. What are you gonna do when the music stops? The important thing with owning your masters. Now I'm going off a little bit. But this is important information, even for now, even for the new wave. It's like if you don't handle your business, someone else will, and someone else will own it. Um, so when the music stops, you want to be able to say, "Hey, I've got this CD. I'm gonna leave it for my kids while I'm retired on an island and just loving it and fishing, whatever you're doing, riding on a cruise, whatever you want to do." Um, and also, you can sell it if you wish to. So now, if you look at the industry, we've had situations where a lot of people have sold like their masters for millions of dollars, and those are important things to know. Instead of selling them for cheap because you're desperate to get money right now, there's the bigger picture is that 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 project actually has more value in the long run. Another thing a lot of people don't know about me is the fact that I'm a big music connoisseur. So like I've taken music like as, as much as music is just something that I listen to and I love it, I've also taken it as a subject to study. I've always studied music and I've studied different forms of music. I could tell you my favorite uh, album is my favorite Zambian album is 3000. I think it's called 3000 Volts by the Ngozi family. My favorite rock album is by Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Um, One of my favorite Zambian storytellers, PK Shala. I grew up listening to a lot of country, a lot of things that people didn't don't know about me. What else don't they know about me? I think it's the fact that I keep my ear to the ground and I listen to a lot of Zambian music just to keep in touch with who's doing what and what's happening. And Man, you'd have to ask the questions. I could keep going on and on and on and on.
Yeah. Now, can we talk about what's been trending? I know you have explained about some few information that are also in my next up question. There's been what's been trending, hip hop documentary. I saw you writing an article about it, explaining about it, giving your opinion about it. We have seen that rappers, even current right now, that rap in English, they don't get enough credit. Let's talk about the documentary, the hip hop at 50. Your opinion as well regarding it, that as well. Maybe let's get it from you. And what made you to write up an article and give your opinion regarding it?
I got to keep it 100, right? Like, I got to keep it a buck. And the thing is, when they approached me, yes, they did approach me. When they approached me, and like I said just now, I was talking about mistakes that musicians made earlier by selling their masters and things like that. When they approached me, I asked for us to sign some paperwork, some waivers. I've never filmed anything, since coming to Australia. I've never filmed anything minus doing any paperwork. That's so important. But in Zambia, when I made that mistake several times, I left money on the table. There's a lot of things that I left unchecked that came back to bite me in the butt, later on because I came to find out that, oh damn, I should have done this paperwork. We've got a tendency in Zambia of taking things lightly. You sell a house, you just want to do it over a handshake, but what you really want to do is, get the paperwork done, make sure there's a witness, and then everything is, copacetic. Everything is smooth sailing after that. So yeah, when they approached me, I asked for certain paperwork to be done, and they kept telling me, "Oh yeah, we talked to Sanga. We talked to Sanga. Oh yeah, tomorrow. Oh yeah, give us an hour. Give us, yeah, no, we'll get back to you." And my terms were very simple. I'm aware that a lot of the people that took part in the documentary were also paid, just for performing and doing other things. So I'm thinking to myself, if everybody's breaking bread, then I've got to get my piece. And I wasn't putting anybody under pressure, like, let's break bread right now. You got to pay me to make an appearance. No, I think that it's my duty of care in as far as the culture for me to actually be present. But just because I have to be present and it's a duty of care of mine, to be there for the culture, it's also very important that, the nitty gritty, is done. Dot my I's, cross my T's. Simple as that. It's not rocket science. And like I said, I learned the hard way and I demanded that this was done. It was a simple demand. I wasn't asking for a bag or asking for people to say, like, not pay me right now, you know, give me the money right now. No. All I said is, okay, so my terms are very simple. If, for example, you license or publish this with a network that's going to pay X amount, all I'm going to need is a small percentage. It might be zero point 0.5. It was up to them to negotiate with me because, I'm one of the people that didn't get a cent. And I understand that Hosta sacrificed quite a bit, of his own money to make this possible. But at the same time, he said, "Oh, I just wanted to get this documentary out." I kind of get it. You want to get the product out, but you want to get the product out and get it out right. I'm working on an EP right now, right?
Mm.
If I just decided I just want to get this product out because I'm tired of working on it, people get like a half baked product from me. And I don't really work like that. So, for me, it's more quality over quantity. And as far as the positives, it's a great step towards, bigger things to come because obviously that's going to inspire other creators maybe to dig deeper and do the right thing. My disagreement with the documentary is it downplays my contribution to hip hop. I wish DJ LBC was still alive. May his soul rest in peace because he was there pushing for my product. And so many DJ Drakes, so many DJs, Mo Funky, um, uh, whew, Love Bug, Keisha Folotia is part of Zambian hip hop history, whether you like it or not. Charlotte Toshi Jr., Reverend Walter Mwambazi, Kelvin Sampa, the minister, is part of Zambian hip hop. You can't say 50 years of Zambian hip hop and then you do like 10 years or 12 years of Zambian hip hop. And I'm thinking, dude, like, what's going on? I know that you want to be executives and you want to be in the forefront, but there's some times when you just got to give it up and just be like, you know what? I would love to be the boss in this, but I'm just going to hand the helms over to somebody that's much more capable of doing the job. So as much as sometimes I want to be a producer, sometimes I just say, hey, Drew made the beat. you're going to do this, or Musa, the creator, you're going to do this. I don't really want to do this. I'll source the money that's going to pay for whatever you need. I'm too busy, so you just handle this. It's just the way you do business. You don't have to be, the end all be all. So when it comes to downplaying the contributions to hip hop, it's things like, and I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but it's like, okay, I come in a game. My long-term goal was to be on MTV Channel-O because I kept seeing Zimbabwe, Uganda, Nigeria, but there was no Zambian artists playing on Channel-O or MTV Base. And so when I eventually got my first single out, which was One Day, I was actually pretty surprised that they put it on Channel-O because the quality wasn't like the best. You can ask Jeff's manager, but he also did a great job just editing and filming the video. He's one of those ride or die homies that just believes in you and wants to do something, so he was there for me. So when the video went to Channel-O, I was like, okay, so finally we have a break. And those are things that are not mentioned in the documentary. First, Zambian hip-hop artists playing on Channel-O. Okay, cool. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet. That's just nature taking its course and God on my side. Then number two, and there's so much more that I'll take the whole day to tell you. Then number two, one of the biggest achievements, I went to South Africa because I was like, dude, we gotta get on. We gotta get on. I went to South Africa, and Chulu Lemba is aware of this. I went to South Africa, took part in a rap battle, and came out second. And it was a controversial second because DJ Fresh, a really big major DJ in South Africa till this day, him and a whole lot of people said, no, Crisis won that battle. It was on SABC, and it was live. Crisis won that battle, but they did it bad because it's not South African, it's a foreigner. But years later, so I planted a seed. Years later, I get a call from DJ Fresh, and he's telling me, no, Channel-O wants you to come and perform there. I was just invited to the Channel-O Video Music Awards because my music was banging and they were loving the steps that I was taking to put Zambia on the map. And that they actually told me that. So we got flown to, thanks to Multi-Choice, we got flown to South Africa, did our thing, represented Zambia, JK, and the crew. I used to call them Raka Dancer, my crew, and we represented Zambia to the best of our ability. And then shortly after, I put out The Fire Inside, and that was the first Zambian song to chart at #1 all across Africa. And it's like, you want to make it sound like this guy was rapping in English and nothing really happened, and oh yeah, we're the local guys that made everything happen. And as far as the beats, I'm not even proud to talk about it. It's not something that I'm proud to talk about it. Whether or not I made money off the beats is just not something that I was proud of because people were threatening my well-being, you know what I mean? And I just didn't like it. So it ended up turning into an actual beat. Yeah, I made money off it, yes, but it's not something that I'm actually really proud of because that's just a side of me that I don't really like to revisit. I think that I'm way more mature and past that. So yeah, it's just so many things. I could go on and on and on, but yeah.
Yeah, so all those things
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so all those things that you just mentioned right there, there's so much that we can even say, saying there's so much history in the background that, like I said from the start of the interview, saying the current generation, they don't know about it. Again, I had another conversation with someone who been saying it's hard to find history of Zambian musicians in Zambia because it's not accessible. It's nowhere where you can go and find saying, oh, Chisenga, Crisis, from called Crisis. When I go to this is where I'm going to find the information of who did what of some of the things that they did in the music industry that we need to appreciate. Don't you feel it's high time that we had something like something to celebrate artists like you, like the PK Chishala, the Daddy Zimas, all these people? Few people know about this. Now it's like everybody's focusing on the current music.
I think that part of the problem, PMC, is the fact that I don't know if it's an inherent trait where people just like to be like, hey, you know what? I'm the big boss hog over here, and this is what I did. I'm the big dog. Part of the issue, and Jay Z said, fame is the worst drug known to man. I mean, and it's like people that have yes, they've attained success in as far as Zambian music, but don't make that success look like. Don't try to portray a picture to the young kids because you're like, Chisenga is overseas, so we'll just tell them a lie about the history of Zambian hip hop. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Don't try to look like you're the boss hog. Just tell the truth. Otherwise, people lose faith in you once they start to learn the truth. So that is part of the problem. Is people trying to put themselves on top. Like you're already successful. The least you can do for the coming generations and the present generations is just tell them the truth so they can learn game from you. You know what I mean? School them so they can know exactly what path to take. Otherwise, you're allowing a distortion in our history that shouldn't really be happening. It's like me telling you, I discovered Livingston, like David Livingston did.
Mm.
And kwali babantu batimureba abantu ati yo niko twakusango. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
David Livingston telling people he discovered Livingston. He didn't discover Livingston. He found people living there. So it's not like he found a place that he did not know about, you know. So let's not rewrite history to suit a narrative that brainwashes the people. We got to tell history and tell it like it is. Tell it like it really is. And that's the most important thing. And definitely, I think that it's very important for people to, um, you know, the good thing that's come out of this documentary is it sparked a conversation. So it's triggered conversations, and that's a good thing. But you can't say 50 years of Zambian hip hop and not tell like half the truth.
Let me put
There's
you on
just
spot.
so many people that
Yeah, let me put. Sorry to
there's so
cut
many
you
people
short.
that laid the brick.
Yes, I was saying. Sorry to cut you short. Let me put you on spot. Out of 10, how many can you rate the documentary that you watched?
Uh, I'll give it an E for effort, and then 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Now let's get to move on. There's
Yes,
another
because
thing that I saw from you when you posted your opinion regarding the same documentary that we're talking about. You responded to CQ Muzukulu saying we made Mondo music, and I have had conversation with different legendaries, Israel, the General Ozzy on the show. They speak so highly about Mondo. What's your story with Mondo music?
So that's what I said. That's why I said you can't talk about Zambian hip hop and just say, "Oh yeah, those Black Muntu." You got to give props where you got to give credit where it's due, and it's very important. And also, you know, that's how you garner respect. That's how you garner support as well, is by giving credit where it's due. And as far as Mondo music, I remember Chisha Folutia wanted me to do an album, and he wanted me to call it Urban Legend. That was what Officer in Charge was supposed to be called. Um, I learned so much. So Chisha Folutia one day, and I remember our phone had been disconnected. Those days when what you call it, when your phone would get disconnected and you didn't pay your bill. I used to get my calls from across the road. A girl called Yolanta, who lived across from me on Susie Road, she came to call me and said I had a phone call. And it was Chisha Folotia on the phone. He said, "Oh, I heard your demos on radio. I think that you're really good," because I used to do demos promoting Mo Funky. By that time, he used to work for Radio Phoenix. And him and Mike Tabor were the first, in fact, Mike Tabor first, but not so much because he was with a major radio station. But Mo Funky was more flexible. Him and Mike Tabor, they're the ones that were believing me and just telling me to push on. And what's so crazy is Mike Tabor told me that he knew Tupac's mother in person, and for some reason, until I really got into the history, I didn't really think, and he said to me, "Oh yeah, you know, I can organize a collaboration." I wasn't ready because I was still learning, but I didn't really understand what the whole Black Panther thing that was he was talking about. I didn't really know much. I knew a bit, but now that I've grown, it's like, man, I didn't know who Mike Tabor was. I didn't even know he was, he was like living in Zambia in exile. I didn't even know that. But in as far as Mondo music, Keisha called me. He heard stuff from Mo Funky. He said, I liked it. I'm thinking of starting the label. I'm going to call it Mondo Music. And if most people don't know this about Mondo, Keisha Folotia named Mondo Music after a close friend of his that had passed away. And I believe his name was Mondo. So that's where the name Mondo Music came from education. And I was like, wow, it came like a gift because I was ready to break out and I was just needing for somebody to believe in me. And he said to me, who do you think we should get? And I said, I've been working with a guy called Mainza. I was with him last night. We were doing a show. We did a gig and I was freestyling at the sports club or something. I can't remember. With a band called B Sharp. And Mainza then also, once Mainza got on, he put on the late George Chivangu, may his soul rest in peace. And then Chisha Folotia started asking us what he would need for the studio. He bought a Korg Triton, and I started learning production from Mondo Music. I started learning about working with artists from Mondo Music. So, I started learning how to work with artists and produce. We did Chipotle Polo, the first one with Tribal Cousin. I co-produced that song. I produced songs for Black Moon too. This is things that people don't know. I produced songs for Black Moon too, and I need to clarify and stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. Daddy Zimas was not a rapper. Daddy Zimas called upon a rapper to be on his record. He did not define himself as a rapper. He was a raga artist. And I know how much people want to claim him for the culture of hip hop, but Daddy Zimas was not a rapper. Got to work with amazing people, Mainza Chipenzi, Lindiwe, Chatel, Tribal Cousins. It's just so many. That's how I met CQ as well, because he was part of a crew then. Mondo Music played a major role in laying the foundation for us in as far as who we became. I didn't really know how to perform or really test my skills on stage until I got put on by Mondo Music. I used to do variety shows at school with Drake's, DJ Drake's. Him and I were at the same school, Mumbwa Secondary School, Mumbwa. Um, so yeah, Mondo laid the foundation for us. And, education one-on-one, there was Kill Music, and Kill Music was like the biggest record label distributor in Zambia, and it really, really raised the flag for Zambian music. But that, due to economic reasons, that record label went defunct, and that was basically the death of Zambian music. And Mondo Music came back and revived Zambian music and showed people that it could be done, and I'm glad to have been a part of that.
Okay, interesting. I'm learning a lot from what you're saying right there. Now let's get move on. The current music. I know you might be in Australia out there, but I'm sure you're updated on what type of music is trending in the country. Yes, and maybe I would like to find out from you your perspective regarding Zambian music. And this is something that I always get to find out from guests. Why are we still struggling to get to the international market? What should it take for us to reach the standards of other countries? I won't mention names, but when I talk about other countries, we're talking about artists, our very own artists, making those big shows in countries, in other countries, big shows. Like, what do we need to do for us to be on at that level?
I also attended a private school before I went to Mumbo Secondary School. I was a student of UNICEF. So I went to a few schools, Woodlands Day Primary School, and Baba's Day Nursery, Woodlands Day, then what you call it, Mulea Primary School. Then I went to LISEF, and coming back to LISEF, which was my key point, is LISEF is a Muslim school, even though I'm Christian, but they also admitted Christian students. But one of the things, the major things that I learned from my Indian friends, and I've got a lot of Indian friends in Zambia. Big shout out to Shafiq, who used to buy my artwork. Um, is the Indians are very united. Kwebena Zambia twalisema kuichinga. You can't lift each other up, mule ichinga. You get what I'm saying? I try to work with people as much as I can. When I don't, it's because maybe time won't allow. Um, and there's just we need to learn to work together and really learn to lift each other up because charity begins at home. So if we're not doing that at home on our own turf, how are we going to expect people to to recognize? Remember that when we're all together, we stand stronger. When we're divided, then we're weaker, and it's easier for the enemy to break through. So what we really need to do is like get together. Like if you're doing a documentary, Chisenga, once his paperwork done, just do the damn thing. Just do the damn work. You're not missing out on anything because what you're doing by missing that out is you're missing a whole lot of information that would have been vital. You work together and then, you know, come together and exchange information on how we're each moving forward and how we can progress forward. But also another thing is quality over quantity. Zambia twalitemu kila muntu ni abali wonse ni bakemba. You get what I'm saying? Each
Yeah.
person is a musician. We can't all be musicians. Like the guys, daddy's on an interview. Can you keep it down, please? Sorry about that.
Okay.
So Kiramuntu Nikemba. Just because you love music doesn't mean you have to be a musician. And I've said this so many times. The Zambia is also lacking entertainment lawyers. That's why when I ask for paperwork, you think I'm being difficult. But it's just like I've had to learn to handle my business independently, and that can't be missed out. It's a very important aspect of progressing the business. Another thing is we need to network more internationally, and we need to show Zambia for the beauty that it is. Like, I never stop telling people how beautiful Zambia is. I never stop telling people, if you go to Africa, make sure you visit Zambia. I talk to, and I'm not like trying to floss or show off or anything, but I talked to one of Dr. Dre's closest friends, and he would tell you the DOC, his real name's Tracy. I talk to him, and I always tell him, like, dude, if we're ever going to make a trip to Africa, you have to visit Zambia. He would attest to that. I've told him so many times, so many times. We need to sell our country. And it doesn't mean that just because, you know, some people rap in English and they succeed and do it well, it doesn't mean that the local rap has no place. In fact, the local rap is easier. The more you make it, the more you make it bigger, the more you start to make people understand the language. We are many years back from what Swahili is. Swahili is from like an international language, and it's almost impossible for us to reach that level. But it's not impossible for us to sell our Zambian languages internationally either. But there's a secret source to it. There's a way that you have to do it in order for the international market to buy into it. And as far as quality, we need to keep the quality up. And as far as radio goes, radio DJs are very guilty for just playing anything. I lived in Hollywood once upon a time, and one of the things that I came to find out, one of the secrets is it's very difficult to get into the industry, and that's because they kind of set a standard where it's like, if you can't deliver, then you're not really, welcome in the industry. People don't want to waste time. People want people that get on the job, people that are self-sustained, people that know exactly what they're doing. So it's a lot of little nitty-gritty things that we need to work on, but it's very, very important for us to sell ourselves professionally, internationally. And as far as music videos and presentation, I think we're right there with the top music video production houses. But now we just need to add quality even to the music. Don't just rush and make a song about, lyrics. You thirst my, you quench my thirst, my water. Like, keep the lyrics more international as well, and be more thoughtful when you lay down your lyrics. And yeah, just be smart about what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with selling locally, nothing wrong being, making your music international either, making your music in English. Music is the language.
Nice. Thank you very much, Chisenga. We would have gone on, but mainly we just wanted to find out your opinion regarding that documentary, and just to get to find out what you've been up to. Maybe in your remix, you can also tell us what you're working on this year, 2024, from your side. Also, you mentioned about your old music. People have been asking, saying, where can they access your music? I've had interactions with a couple of people that might ask, saying, where can I find this song? Where can I find this song? And when they search, many of them, maybe they search on YouTube, they can't access your stuff. So maybe in your remix.
So in as far as finding my music and information about Zambian music, it's very important for us to take our brands very serious. So as a musician, you're a brand. I have a website. It's to say, I made sure that the website was very simple. It's not even .com. It's chisenga.co. As simple as that. You just type in my name, CHISENGA.co. That's it. It'll take you to my website, and you have access to the music. It'll tell you my story about where I'm coming from and as far as my history. And it's not even everything, because it's just so much I could keep telling. So yeah, if you search for Crisis, I used to spell it C.R.I.S $, which I used to use as an S.I $, which is part of the reason why I changed my name, because branding wise, that's so difficult to type in and it takes a long time. So from a branding perspective, try to keep things simple. And that's why I thought to myself, I'm too far from home to not be at home with myself. And names can be spiritual, and they can even have curses. So I killed off Crisis, and I decided that I was just going to step into my roots. I'm Chisenga. And the crazy thing is, Chisenga is so accepted, and people love it in Australia. And that's the whole aim. Everybody that's never heard that name before, they're like, wow, that's a unique name. I don't say that about everybody's names, but people say that about my name. So it gives you, kind of like some feedback on what that branding does. Crisis was just not a good name. And as far as my spiritual being with God, is just, I don't think that it's a good name. So I decided to change it. So branding is also very important. But you can find my music online. You search for the old name, or you search for Crisis Mr. Swagger. Depending on the music that you're looking for, you can search for that old name and you find it. You search for Chisenga. I changed some of my music to my new name because I just wanted people to find it easily. And I've earned more royalties by using an easier name, because people find my music easily now. So there's some music I was unable to change to the new name, but because I wanted it all under one umbrella. So you can find it through the old name, but the new music and some of the old music, you can still find it using Chisenga. But I've got a website, chisenga.co.
Thank you very much for your time. Means a lot. I know the time difference. What time is it now in Australia?
It is now 5:36 p.m. We're 6 hours. We've got a 6-hour difference.
Oh.
So every time you think about calling me, just remember that I'm 6 hours ahead of you.
Wow.
So uko taira kumana na 12 Efio.
Ni 11:36.
Exactly.
Yeah. But thanks a lot, means a lot.
Uko kuchiri kachero kunoero watampo okuira. Elo bwaira.
Eno tuatasha sana umutende kulupwa.
Iyo twatotera nganshi bale sabale pala imirimo mule bomba mule pitirisha. And I just want to say one last thing.
Okay.
I rap in English quite all right, but you just need to always remember I'm very fluent. I might not sound like it, but I'm very fluent in my own languages. At Muleya, I was able to study Nyanja and Bemba, and I've worked with a lot of local artists that I actually used to correct in the studio to tell them what to say because I understood the language better than them. So let's just be clear about that. Don't get it twisted.
All right. Thank you very much, Chisenga. Means a lot right on Prime TV. We really appreciate for the time that you've given us right here. So we're having a conversation with Chisenga all the way in Australia right there. We're trying to find out some few information regarding what was trending on social media. He gave his opinion regarding the documentary. So in case you haven't seen the documentary that talks about hip-hop at 50, go check it out. And also he wrote something on his Facebook saying the biggest lie ever told in Zambian music history is that all Zambian musicians should only be made using Z lingo. Wanted to find out about that. Hope some of the questions that you were asking or maybe thinking of have been answered. We're back next week, same time, same place on Yatu Vibes with yours truly, PMC.